It's 89.9 QTQ-FM. Oh, man, that is the perfect jam for your ride home. That's Alicia Keys, Girl on Fire. And, I told you I have guests coming into the studio. I have 5 women here that are on fire, coming from the city of Hartford, doing some amazing things. Before we even talk about all of the great things their organization does, let's talk about that jam. Because I'm just looking at all here in the house. And so that particular jam, Alicia Keys, Girl on Fire. Tell me who picked the jam, and just tell me in general, what does that song mean to each of you?
Well, I guess I'll say that I picked the jam. This is Kim Hawkins speaking. And what it represents to me is the fire that's in our heart for this organization. We are passionate about this organization, and we are on fire with everything that we do. And so that's where I get the cue from. I think that, it's not one girl. We got 5 girls that are on fire.
Oh, you ain't say nothing but a word. Nothing but a word. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
It makes me very proud to know that the full management team, all women,
right,
doing things for a long time, seasoned, solid, know what they're doing. And we really, truly are on fire, and we want to share it with Hartford. If you don't know about Hedco prior today, by the time we get through, you will know who we are, what we do, and where you can find us.
Oh, listen, that means you're going to learn today. That's what that means. So let me just say this. Let me put some respect on these young women's names. So you just heard from, that was Barbara Randolph. She is the board chair, over 40 years working with this organization. You also heard from Kim Hawkins. She is the CEO, 27 plus years working with this organization. And then let me just tell you who else is in here. We've got the Chief Financial Officer, Patricia Geronimo, 25 years with the organization. We've got Katanya Huey in the house. Y'all can say, hey, when I call your name. Katanya Huey's in the house, Director of Operations. She says she's the newbie in the house. And then we've got Daisley Butler, the administrative systems person. She's a specialist, 20 years with the organization. And so listen, the legacy of this organization, and the organization I'm talking about, folks, if you're just tuning in, is Hedco. Hedco, the small business hedge, Hedco doing some amazing things. And so, Kim, why don't we start with you as the CEO of this organization? Can you just share the story behind Hedco's founding back in 1975 and some of the services that you all provide? And any of you can jump in as we talk about that. But first, let's just start with the story behind Hedco's founding.
Sure, it's an exciting story. So 50 years ago, Hedco started out as a contractor for the city of Hartford. We were asked to come on board to help during a time when the gang wars were going on back in the late 80s and late 70s, early 80s. And the business owners within those cities and those towns were having issues with the violence and how their businesses were being interrupted. And so we were asked to come in and provide some services to those businesses, give them some counseling in terms of how they could navigate what was happening in the cities. And so from that point, we've grown. We were a technical assistance organization, and our mission then was to provide technical assistance to businesses. Well, our mission is still that, but we've added a few more components to it. So what we say is our mission is really to provide vital resources to these businesses, to empower our entrepreneurs, help them to understand what it is to be an entrepreneur and how you go about doing that. And then the other thing is to help build the communities in which they reside, because strong businesses mean strong communities, right?
Oh,
and
man.
So that's the goal, is really to be able to provide that. And we do it in a 3-pronged approach. We provide incubation. We have the ability to bring in individuals who have an idea, want to think about whether or not they want to go into business or not, and come into our facility, into our business resource center, and incubate themselves. Give themselves an opportunity to decide, is this really what I want? Is this a hobby? Is this something I can really wrap my arms around? And if so, they've got 6 months to a year, free of charge, to come into our facility and take advantage of all of the services that we have within there.
Wait, you said free of charge?
Free of charge, that's right. 6 months to a year, you can come in, sit down, talk with our consultants, take advantage of our webinars, our seminars, everything that we have to offer, free of charge.
Now, folks, listen, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the voice of Kim Hawkins. She is the CEO of Hedco. She just told you about the organization. And so, Kim, when we talk about small businesses and just the idea of starting a small business, because I know I'm sure there's plenty of listeners saying, I've been thinking about starting a business. I'm just not quite sure what I want to do. What would you tell them?
Come in and have a conversation with us. That's the first thing. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is all of the individuals who are in our office working have either run their own business or have been involved in small business in some form or fashion before. So the idea is where you start, right? And kind of think through, does this make sense? What are some of the things that I may have to navigate when I'm doing this? And then we build from there. So it really starts with a conversation, Joyce, that says, is this something I really want to do? What's the market like out there for what it is I want to do? How successful do I think I'll be with what it is, this venture I have, and how many other people are doing it? Because that's the key. How many other people are doing what you're doing, and do you think you'll be successful at it?
Oh, there it is. And so, folks, listen, I've got 5 amazing women here from Hedco, and it's a legacy of experience in the house. I'm talking 27 years, over 40 years. And so you just heard the voice of Kim Hawkins. Now, Katanya, I want to talk with you. You said you're the newbie to the group. You're the director of operations. And so as we're talking about entrepreneurship, right, and what folks should think about, Katanya, can you just talk a little bit about what are some of the benefits of just becoming, particularly now in this day and age, I'm not even going to call any names, but a whole lot of shiggity, and I said shiggity, is going on as it relates to this administration. But just talk a little bit about the benefits, particularly right now, of becoming an entrepreneur.
No, absolutely, Joyce. So the key benefits are really flexibility and freedom. You get to decide. You get to make your own decisions. You're the boss. You decide how you run your business. So as Kim mentioned, you can come in, you can get the free incubation space. But as you think about from the standpoint, first of all, it's a strategic decision on whether or not you're going to do this, right? So you want to stop and think about the impact that you're going to have. So as an entrepreneur, I can go out and I can set the stage for myself, right? So this is what I want to do. I want to differentiate myself in the marketplace. I want to be able to impact the community in the way that I want to impact the community. So I can help with job creation, right? I can decide, if I want to expand, I want to grow the business, and my all-time generational wealth. So as you start up as an entrepreneur, leaving that legacy behind, starting up your business, it may start off something small, but by the time your grandkids come around, now you're leaving it on to the next generation and you're able to scale and grow.
And so, folks, listen, if you're just tuning in, I've got Hedco in the house, Connecticut Small Business Edge. And when you talk about generational wealth, just the other day I was in a restaurant, all right, down near the shore. And as I was waiting on my order, I was looking at all of these pictures on the wall. And these pictures, a family-owned business, and the pictures went back to the early 1900s, right? And so you talk about generational wealth. When does that generational wealth start? And is it too early to start it now? Is it too early to even think about that now?
Oh, it's never too early. I mean, when you start your business, if you're an entrepreneur, you're forward thinking. If you want to be successful, you're thinking down the road. So it's never too early. The one thing that you want to do and you want to think about is what's the next step. You always want to be ahead of the market. You don't want to be behind the market. So you're always forward thinking, looking forward, trying to figure out what the market trends are and how to move forward.
Oh, that's shifting and moving. And we're going to keep shifting and moving. And so, as we're talking about this, I'm gonna just turn right over to Barbara Randolph, and I say she is the big kahuna as well. She is the board chair with over 40 years of experience working with Hedco. And I'm sure she's got so much right now that she just wants to chime in.
Well, I do, because we have lived exactly what you're asking, how it's become. We started as a very small organization, as you said, as a consultant to the city. We were so successful and did so well we became HEDCO. Back in the day, that stood for Hartford Economic Development Corporation. Today, we are absolutely a nonprofit. Our official name is HEDCO. Now we shrunk all that. There was too much to say, and we evolved. We evolved from servicing, Hartford itself. Primarily at that time, the focus was on the small businesses, minorities, and particular women. Even back then, we started with women. And then we expanded to touching all the cities that touched Hartford.
Okay.
And from there, we have expanded to today. We are in all 169 towns in Connecticut. You can apply for the benefits what we have here at HEDCO. And the money aspect, which I'm going to ask Patty to chime in on the lending aspect, because I'm sure they're all wondering, well, if you're going to do this, how do you afford to do it? Where does the money come from?
Yes.
We have that covered too. So y'all listen. We
Yeah,
got some good stuff to tell you.
And so you're listening to the board chair. And so as we shift and move, that is really, and talking about entrepreneurship, starting up your own business, putting together the business plan. And I'm sure our listeners are saying, yeah, that all sounds good, but what about the money? Show me the money. And so I've got Patricia Geronimo. She is the CFO. She knows the money with over 25 years.
Knows where it is.
And she knows how to find it.
Where the money comes from?
Yes.
Definitely not from my pocket. But we do get funds from the state, from the city, from private entities. And like Barbara has said, we cover all of Connecticut. We have lent out over 3,000 businesses, and I'll say about $100 million.
$100 million. We put
$100
$100 million
Okay.
out on the streets in the state of Connecticut.
Okay.
And that is in the form of term loans, line of credits, forgivable loans, or grants.
So any income requirements or anything like that? Or is it really, what we just need for you to come on in and sit down with us?
Well,
what would you let our listeners know?
That is the first step. I mean, having a business is serious. It's not a game. So I know Katanya talked about, wealth and all that. But there is also a seriousness to that. When you become an entrepreneur and you have a business, you have responsibilities. Mm-hmm. You have to. See, we have sometimes people say, "Okay, I know how to cook and I can do, I can open a restaurant." And people are like, "Yes, but there is more to that."
Yeah, I've been cooking for my family for the past 10 years, and I got 20 people in my family, but it's not the same. You're saying,
and I think any business, you need to know how your business is doing. You need to be able to at least read or understand your financial statement. So you need to know where the money is coming, where the money is leaving.
One of the things we do is we work with startups.
Yep.
Okay.
So we work with a lot of startup businesses. So there's not a lot of financial information around them.
Mm-hmm.
So the key is to really help them to understand what their projections are going to look like.
Okay.
Because that's what we're going to either provide them a loan or a grant based on, right? And that takes that conversation again. What does that business plan look like? What do the numbers look like? How familiar are you with what it is you're looking to do? And we build from there so that we can get them to a place where, as a startup, they understand what it is they need to do, how they need to go about doing it. Things that are so important is something is, what side of the street are you located on? Mm-hmm. You may not realize that there's a real traffic pattern to where you should put your business. Mm-hmm. We talk about those kinds of things because, again, that's the impact. And the goal is to get you to a successful point. So we're looking at all kinds of things, but we do work with businesses in their startup stage, as well as existing businesses and those who are looking for growth.
And so listen, folks, if you're just tuning in, Hedco is in the house, Connecticut Small Business Edge. And we've got a myriad of women here with a legacy of information since they've been working with the organization. But so as you're talking about entrepreneurship, is there any particular industry that you focus on, or is it just open to anyone that has a business plan, that has an idea, that want to meet with you?
That's it. It's anyone who has a dream.
Oh, I like that.
Anyone who has a dream, come on in, because your dream is your reality. And we want to hear what it is how big you want to dream, right? And how we can help you get to it. So that's it.
Oh, and
it only takes a dream.
It only takes a dream. And so let me just run down once again who's in the house. We've got the board chair, Barbara Randolph. We've got the CFO, Patricia Geronimo. We've got the CEO, you just heard her voice, Kim Hawkins. We've got Katanya Hury, the Director of Operations, and we've got Daisy Butler, the administrative specialist. And you know, if you combine them all, you've got over 100 years. Y'all old. we got 100 years of Hedco, really, as they celebrate 50 years. And so, Barbara, I just want to ask you, what does this milestone, 50 years we're talking, man, what does this milestone mean to the organization and the people that this organization serve?
To me, it means that Hedco has been able to make a difference. People say they're going to make a difference. We have made a difference in this community. We continue to do that, and we're expanding even further. Now that we've got a lot of online communications and whatnot, we can reach people so much easier. They can reach us so much easier. And what we see is the growth of continuing on. And I see some dynamite women here, you know, that's actually at the helm, that will continue to run this organization and take it to the levels that we can't even perceive. That I think sometimes 100 or 50 years from now, we'll be 100 years. I know I won't be here probably, but many of you may still be here.
Yeah.
But the reality is that knowing that we have created a legacy for our community, and we've done it in such a way that we have different agencies. For instance, we've got the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving.
Oh, yeah.
We service their needs for their nonprofits, you know, with their lines of credits and things like that. So we have spread out so much, and we will continue to do that. And how does it happen? By each person who has that dream coming to see us. We take that dream, put it into a plan, execute the plan, and you have reality. And you've changed not just your life or your spouse's life, but you're changing your children's life and your generations to come. That is what it's all about. For our community to put a solid foundation of finally building some serious capital to where we can excel and do what we need to do and be self-sufficient for our generations to come.
Wow. Listen, you're listening to Barbara Randolph is the board chair, and you just hit the nail on the head. I mean, quite honestly, you know, when you look at really at this current point in time where people have worked in a particular area as it relates to a corporation or with the federal government, and so many jobs are being cut back. And so you have to have a plan B, you know, because life unfortunately happens. And so what is that plan B? And so folks, if you're just tuning in, I've got Hedco here to help you look at what that plan B might look like, to help you, number one, create generational wealth, to number two, help you find out what your skills and assets are that you can bring to your community. You know, there's been so much going on as it relates to community and corporation investing in our community. And so this, once again, is an opportunity not only for you to get the services for free, to find out financial planning and business planning and all of the other services that they offer. Now, you ladies, let me say this, you work hard, but you play hard too. Yes. And so you've got a really big event coming up. And so I don't want us to miss the opportunity, number one, to invite businesses, to invite the community out, to come and have a good time. But to also to support your organization. So if you can talk a bit about that, and number two, let folks know how to get in contact with you and how to come on out and have a good time.
So we are celebrating, as everyone knows, 50 years of being in business. We will be hosting a 50th anniversary gala on March 25th. So that's Tuesday, March 25th at the St. Clements Castle in Portland. So what you can expect is an evening of elegance, inspiring speakers, understanding Hedco over the years, what's to come with Hedco. So really just a night of understanding Hedco and appreciating everything that we've gone through to get to where we are and how we plan to continue to help the state of Connecticut as we go forward.
That sounds so good. Give them that date and location once again, and how can folks go about getting tickets?
Absolutely. March 25th, it's at St. Clements Castle in Portland, Connecticut, 5 to 8:30 p.m. It's 1391 Cobalt Road in Portland, right off of Route 66 in Portland. You can go online to www.hedcoinc.com/tickets, in order to go out there and just purchase tickets. Just find out information. There's a lot of good information out there. Even if you can't make it, check out the website, see if there's anything out there that interests you, learn a little bit more about Hedco, so that later on down the road, when we do interact with you, you understand exactly who we are. So we'd appreciate the invitation extends to the entire community, and we'd appreciate any support that you would love to provide.
Y'all going out to the castle.
On the water.
Y'all going to the castle. Y'all know how to party. Once again, that website is HEDCO, Hedco.inc.
Hedco Inc.
HEDCOinc.com.
HEDCOinc.com/tickets.
There you go. You heard it directly from their mouths. So you got to come on out. Make sure you support that event, March 25th. You partying with a purpose. And so, Daisy, I know that you are in the house. And, Daisy, you're the administrative specialist. What message would you like to share with the community as Hedco enters the next 5 decades, the next 50 years?
Well, I like to say that, Joyce, I've been with this organization for 20 years, and I really take pleasure in working with Hedco, knowing that I've been part of an organization that's been lending money for 50 years. I mean, not many organizations can say that they've been around for 50 years. And what I like to do, I like to, for our listeners to know that I feel the same way that the people feel about the NBA. I think that our organization has been doing great things, and we are fantastic.
I like that.
We like that.
I'm going to share a little tidbit with you. Hedco gave my father his first loan as a contractor in the city of Hartford, operating out of 2065 Main Street. Did you hear what I said? Hedco gave my father his first loan. His daughter is now the CEO of Hedco, who's now taking that and giving to others who are like us, who hadn't had the opportunity to get access to capital and to be able to have the resources available. Hedco has always been here to support our small minority women-owned businesses, and we will be here for many more years to come. That's a tidbit.
That's more than a tidbit. That's a mic drop.
And we support the men too. We lend to everybody. But we did start to be a minority lender, and women in particular. And it makes us really seriously very, very proud. I've been on the board for just a little over 40 years. I was a young woman when I started, and I loved the organization so much and saw what a difference it was making in the community that I have stayed. And honestly, I just see Hedco continuing on and getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Why stop in Connecticut, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There you go. Why stop in Connecticut? Oh, all the mic drops. Ladies, I want to thank you so much for coming through and hanging out with me in the air chair, particularly during this month, and particularly to talk about your big gala coming up on March 25th. And so we got to jump back into some more jams. But before we do that, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want to share? And then do you have any shout outs? And then we're going to jump into a jam.
Just know that our doors are always open. You don't need an appointment to come in. Just come on in. We're at 207 Main Street in Hartford. Come up on the second, third, or fourth floor, and you'll be greeted with open arms by somebody.
Oh, there it is. And share that website once again, the website and the phone number for our listeners if they want to contact Hedco to share any, whether it's learning about the services you provide or the funding or starting up their own small business. How directly do they get in contact with you?
So you can go directly to HEDCOinc.com. So HEDCOinc.com. Anything you need to know about Hedco is right there.
Okay, and I know I got all the big kahunas in the house. Any shout outs? Anything else that I might have missed?
I want to give a shout out to my grandbaby and my son. Absolutely. Shout out to Ty and Kenzie.
All right.
And my mom.
All right.
I didn't have a shout out, but I wanted to say not only are we a lending institution, we also do training classes, webinars, seminars. OSHA 10 and OSHA 30 we do offer.
Okay. All right. All
we
right.
do.
Then we
And
get.
I'm gonna shout out to you for having us on
Oh,
board.
man,
Thank you.
listen.
Shout out.
You
Thank your audience for listening to us. We hope that they've learned something here today.
Y'all can come back tomorrow. You can come. You are welcome. Bring the money and just come. Well, listen, we got to jump back into some jams, and so I'm going to send it back to you. What jam do we have for our listeners for their ride home? And thank you for coming in. What we going to leave them with?
Ain't no stopping us now.
No stopping.
Oh, there it is. Thank you, ladies. Continue to keep up the great work. And March 25th, it all goes down. Hedco, HEDCO is in the house. Come on, let's ride. We're QFM. All right.
All right.